After releasing the thinnest, lightest 10-inch slate last year with the Tablet Z, now Sony unleashes on the unsuspecting masses another svelte boomerang. This is Daniel from PhoneArena presenting the Xperia Z2 Tablet, which takes those same superlatives away from its predecessor. It also adds a much more powerful processor and an improved display. Moreover, Sony again managed to keep the tablet waterproof and with IP58 certification in that. So let's dive 5 feet deep into Sony's newest Android slate. Clocking in at the breathtaking 0.25 inches, 6.5 millimeters, the Xperia Z2 tablet is the slimmest tablet out there, almost as thick as its micro USB port. It is also the lightest of them 10-inch slates, including the venerable iPad Air or Samsung's Tab Pro 10.1. Couple the compact and feathery chassis with the IP58 certification, and the Z2 tablet becomes one of the most well-engineered mobile devices out there. You can dunk it in up to 5 feet, 1.5 meters of water for more than an hour, and it won't skip a beat. Just make sure the protective port flaps are firmly closed when you lie in the bathtub, binge-watching Game of Thrones for example. Sony's slate, however, is much wider than its main competitors on account of the unwieldy side bezel, which is so large that makes the 10-inch display look smaller than it is, much like a picture frame. On the positive side, as it makes the tablet very comfortable to hold with plenty of space to rest your thumbs on without touching the display. Also, since the tablet is so thin and light, you can easily just hold it with one hand, as there's this wide area for the opposing thumb to grip the slate firmly into place. Thus, the thick side bezel is not aesthetically pleasing, but since it brings added comfort when working with the Z2 tablet, we're willing to let it slide. The firm grip is also aided by the soft touch plastic material that Sony used for the back. The rear, however, smudges very easily if your fingers are even a bit oily, wet or sweaty, so it won't look as cool in Starbucks as when you're holding an aluminum iPad Air, for instance. Hopefully you're not that vain. Sony used its omnibalance design language with a signature circular power key, creating a well-crafted slate with soft edges. That same key is on one of the remarks we have about the side buttons, as it feels rather wobbly under your finger. It is positioned very well when you hold the tablet in portrait mode though. The key goes right under the first phalanx of your thumb, so it's within an easy reach. Yet it's not right under your thumb tip, so you can't press it accidentally. The metallic volume rocker underneath it feels sturdier, but it's too thin and harder to find and press without looking, plus its tactile feedback is rather shallow. At the top left side of the frame you can find the micro USB port and the memory card slot, which are covered with protective flaps. Those flaps fit very tightly and are so flush with the side that if they weren't marked, you'd be looking around for them for quite some time. The tablet will keep reminding you to close them if they're left open, or else all waterproof bets are off. Sony's tablet flaunts 4 stereo speakers on the sides in 2x2 format, which are situated in a way that prevents you from covering them with your palm when you hold the tablet in landscape mode. Sony is using a new LED display technology for a 10.1 inches 1920 by 1200 pixels IPS screen on the Xperia Z2 tablet. It's called Live Color LED and uses red and green phosphor with blue LEDs and has tailored color filters on top that are set to produce brighter and more evenly spread lighting. The end result should be more vibrant colors on the display, yet without the accompanying oversaturation of OLED screens, for instance. That is indeed the case with the Z2 tablet, as its triluminous panel shows vivid, somewhat unrealistic colors, which still aren't gaudy to look at. The Kelvin temperature is very close to the reference port, so white is spot on. Some may scoff at the 223 ppi pixel density, given that we have high-end Samsung slates with 1600p screens, for example. Still, the Z2 tablet's 1200p is more than enough for most purposes. The issue with the display is not the pixel density, but rather its high light reflectance ratio. The mirror-like effect is constant and especially annoying if you use the tablet outdoors, despite the decent 440 nits peak brightness that we measured. The IPS panel's viewing angles are very good, and overall the screen of the Z2 tablet is an improvement over its predecessor, if not in resolution, then in image quality. Sony uses its Xperia interface on top of Android 4.4 KitKat. It's an OK overlay, but doesn't offer extra multitasking functions like Samsung's multi-window or LG's dual-window modes, which are very useful on a tablet. In order to achieve differentiation, Sony bets on a few branded apps like the Walkman music player or the Timescape social aggregator widget, and that's about it. There isn't much difference from the previous Xperia UI iterations, and Sony still offers its small apps suite, available when you hit the active tasks key at the right of the home button icon. By default, there are 5 apps in the bar, including a remote control widget for the Air Blaster at the top and a browser. You can add more apps and widgets either from the tablet or from the Play Store. They hover on top of anything else you're doing underneath, and you can fire up to 5 such resizable windows, which is a decent way to multitask on the tablet if needed. Sony's new Catwalk model is powered by a fast 2.3 GHz quad-core Snapdragon 801. It's the slower AB variation of the 811 family, but still a vast improvement over the measly Snapdragon S4 Pro that last year's Tablet Z shipped with. In Snapdragon 801, the Adreno GPU is clocked much higher compared to Snapdragon 800 chipsets, which boosts the graphic prowess of the chipset by a third while preserving the power draw efficiency. This processor is just a step below Qualcomm's upcoming Snapdragon 805, so as exemplified in the high benchmark scores, the tablet's relevance in the silicon department is ensured. The Xperia Z2 Tablet also comes with 3GB of RAM and 16 or 32GB of internal memory, expandable via microSD slot. Needless to say, the improved processing power results in a fluid browser performance. There are no hiccups while panning around, scrolling or zooming in and out. Sony uses the stock Chrome browser that comes with Android now, so if you want Adobe Flash support, you'd have to look for third-party options. There are 2 versions of the tablet based on the connectivity options. One offers an LTE 3G modem, while the other is Wi-Fi only. Both of them share the same radios, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.0, assisted GPS and DLNA. The tablet sports this infrared sensor at the top, managed by a dedicated app, so that you can use it as a remote control for your TV or home stereo, for example, but not your AC unit like with Samsung or LG devices. Sony uses its album app in place of a stock gallery and offers plenty of picture editing modes that can be used from within the app's interface itself. Your video collection goes in the Movies app, which also boasts a pretty interface with footage previews. There's this interesting Track ID TV mode, which serves as Shazam for video, pulling out information about the movie currently on TV based on the sound recorded from it. The Xperia interface has one of the nicest music players from all manufacturer overlays out there. It is Walkman branded and offers a very appealing and easy to use interface with plenty of categorization options and sound modes to choose from. The Z2 tablet comes with a surround sound setup called S-Force, which uses not 2 but 4 side speakers in total. The placement of these speakers is such that you won't block them with your hand while holding the tablet. We can attest that the slim device has one of the best speakers we've heard on a tablet, emitting very strong and clean sound. Waterproof speakers usually sound muffled, but here the tunes come out loud and clear, so watching HD music clips or video is a pleasure. The Xperia Z2 tablet also offers new digital noise cancelling technology that is said to weed out up to 98% of the ambient noises while listening to music. The technology is known as active noise control and weeds out the ambient fluff like car, train noises and busy streets. That only happens when the tablet is paired with Sony's own noise cancelling headset, and the pair is not included with the tablet in every region. The default video player runs every popular format you throw at it, including DivX, X80 and MKV files out of the box and up to 1080p in resolution at that. It also supports plenty of settings like loop mode or subtitle support. The footage looks pretty on the vibrant display, and as we mentioned, you can soak in the bathtub with the waterproof tablet while streaming your favorite TV series, which is awesome. The 8MP Exmor sensor on the back of the tablet is managed by all the bells and whistles you'd expect from Sony's camera app, like automatic scene recognition mode, augmented reality overlays, or an HDR photo regime. By default, the tablet shoots in a wide 16:9 aspect ratio, which is about 5MP, so if you want to use the full resolution of the camera, you have to change it to 4:3 manually from the app settings. The superior auto mode has received quite a boost from the 45% increase in image processing power that comes with Snapdragon 801 compared to 800. It focuses and snaps very quickly and gets the correct scene settings most of the time, including a fast reversal to macro mode, resulting in nice bokeh background blur effect when shooting close objects. The pictures come out with a vivid color representation that is a tad oversaturated compared to reality, yet still very pleasant to look at. The camera captures plenty of detail, and it's in line with what one would expect from an 8MP shooter. Snapping against the sky as a background results in underexposed frames, but that's largely expected with such a camera. Indoors, the tablet also performed well, keeping noise in check and shooting clean and well-exposed photos. An LED flash would be of help in low light scenarios, though such scenes are usable even without it. We get smooth 30 frames per second 1080p video recording from the Z2 tablet's camera. The device is quick to adjust the exposure when you're panning around with it and doesn't skip frames or insert artifacts. The sound recorded with the video is strong and clean. Sony's Xperia Z2 Tablet is a great improvement over its record-setting predecessor. It is even thinner with a much faster chipset and a better display. Also, it has an excellent sound output. The slimmest, lightest 10-inch tablet on the planet makes a striking first impression to anyone who grabs it and can even be held with one hand without wrecking your wrist too much. The lack of premium materials for the chassis is more than offset too by the tablet's waterproof certification, which makes it stand out in the Android crowd. There are only a few issues with the Z2 tablet, chief among which is the high screen reflectivity, which makes it a nuisance to use outdoors. The pixel density also leaves something to be desired compared to other high-end devices in its category. Sony priced the tablet at about $500 or euros for the basic 16GB Wi-Fi model. That's the same pricing scheme as its main Android and iOS competitors, Samsung's Galaxy Tab Pro 10.1 and the Apple iPad Air. The Tab Pro has a high resolution display and a new magazine UX with an excellent split-screen multitasking mode for the interface. It is less compact than the Z2 tablet, however, and isn't waterproof. Apple's iPad Air is also very thin and light with a striking aluminum design plus 500,000 tablet-tailored apps to choose from. It's not waterproof too and doesn't have an IR blaster at the top, or a memory card slot for that matter. In the end, unless you're aiming for a tad higher pixel density, the Z2 tablet here comes out as the best 10-inch Android slate you can buy at the moment. Even if you're firmly invested in the iOS tablet vortex, Sony's slate might wow you with the extra features it offers before the iPad Air too. This was Daniel from PhoneArena presenting you the Sony Xperia Z2 Tablet. For more information about this and other slates, you can visit us at PhoneArena.com.